I stood there in the dimly lit ballroom, the chatter of old classmates swirling around me like a storm I couldn't escape. My heart pounded as my ex-wife, Sarah, sauntered over with that smug smile plastered on her face, her new husband trailing behind like a trophy. "Look at you, Mark," she sneered, loud enough for everyone to hear. "Still scraping by as a single dad? Bet you regret letting me go now." The room fell silent, eyes boring into me like daggers. I felt my face burn, my fists clench. But just as I opened my mouth to respond, the doors burst open, and in walked a man who changed everything. Who was he? And why was he staring right at me? The humiliation hit me like a freight train, freezing me in place. Sarah's laughter echoed, but before I could shatter under the weight of it all, that mysterious figure approached, his presence commanding the room. Little did I know, this was just the beginning of a revelation that would upend my life forever. Let me take you back to where it all started. My name is Mark Thompson, and 5 years ago, my world was picture perfect, or so I thought. Sarah and I had been high school sweethearts, married right after college. We had our daughter, Lily, who was the light of my life from the moment she was born. She had Sarah's curly hair and my stubborn streak, always giggling and asking a million questions. Back then, I worked as a mid-level accountant at a small firm, nothing fancy, but it paid the bills. Sarah was a teacher, passionate about her students, and we dreamed of a simple life, a cozy house, family vacations, growing old together. But cracks started showing early. Sarah wanted more excitement, more luxury. She complained about our modest apartment, our beat-up car. "Mark, we're not living, we're just surviving," she'd say. I tried to make it work, picking up extra shifts, but it wasn't enough. Then came the affair. I found out through a text message on her phone one night while she was in the shower. Her colleague, a flashy guy named Derek with a sports car and a trust fund. The divorce was brutal. Sarah painted me as the boring, unambitious one in court, and she got primary custody of Lily at first. I fought tooth and nail, but as a single dad with a demanding job, the judge sided with her stability. I was left with weekends and holidays, scraping by in a tiny one-bedroom apartment, pouring every penny into child support. Those early days as a single dad were hell. I'd wake up at 5 a.m., make breakfast for one, head to work where my boss, Mr. Harrington, piled on the tasks without a second thought. Harrington was a billionaire tech mogul, founder of Innovatech, the company that revolutionized AI software. I was just a cog in his machine, crunching numbers in the finance department. But he noticed me one day during a late-night shift. "Thompson, you're still here?" he'd asked, peering over my cubicle. I mumbled something about deadlines, and he nodded, saying, "Dedication like that doesn't go unnoticed." Little did I know how true that would be. Lily became my anchor. On weekends, we'd build forts out of blankets, bake lopsided cookies, and read stories until she fell asleep on my shoulder. But the loneliness gnawed at me. I'd see couples at the park, holding hands, and feel that sharp pang of what I'd lost. Sarah, meanwhile, married Derek 6 months after the divorce. They moved into a sprawling house in the suburbs, the kind with a pool and a home theater. She paraded their life on social media, vacations to Europe, fancy dinners, while I clipped coupons for groceries. The worst part? She started poisoning Lily against me. "Daddy's too busy for us," she'd say, or "He's not like Derek. He can't give you the things you deserve." It broke my heart every time Lily repeated those words, her innocent eyes wide with confusion. One evening, after dropping Lily off at Sarah's, I sat in my car and cried. Real, ugly sobs. How had I ended up here? A failure as a husband, a part-time dad, invisible at work. But I wiped my tears and vowed to change. I started taking online courses in advanced finance and AI integration, staying up late after Lily's bedtime stories. It paid off. I got a small promotion at Innovatech, enough to afford a better apartment. Harrington even called me into his office once. Impressive work on that quarterly report, Mark. Keep it up. His words were like fuel. For the first time in years, I felt seen. Fast forward to the high school reunion. It was our 15-year mark, held at a swanky hotel downtown. I almost didn't go. Why rub shoulders with people who'd moved on to bigger things while I was still piecing my life together? But Lily begged me. "Dad, you have to tell me stories about when you were young," she said, her eyes sparkling. So I rented a suit, splashed on some cologne, and walked in with my head high. The room was filled with laughter, clinking glasses, success stories. Old friends slapped my back, asking about Sarah. I kept it vague. We went our separate ways. "I've got Lily, she's my everything." Then Sarah arrived, arm in arm with Derek. She looked stunning in a designer dress, diamonds glittering. They made the rounds, and when she spotted me, her eyes narrowed. She marched over, pulling Derek along. "Mark, fancy seeing you here." "Still at that dead-end job," she said, her voice dripping with false sweetness. The group around us quieted. I forced a smile. "Actually, I've been promoted. Things are good." But she laughed, a sharp, cutting sound. "Promoted? To what, head pencil pusher? Derek here just closed a deal worth millions. And look at you, single, struggling. No wonder Lily prefers staying with us. She told me last week how boring your weekends are." The word slammed into me. Boring? Struggling? The room spun. Whispers started. Poor Mark, she really did a number on him. I felt small, exposed, like the loser she'd always accused me of being. My mind raced. What could I say? Defend myself? Walk away? But before I could decide, the doors swung open with a dramatic whoosh. Heads turned as a tall, impeccably dressed man entered, flanked by two assistants. It was Alexander Harrington, my boss, the billionaire everyone whispered about. He scanned the room, his sharp eyes landing on me. "Mark Thompson," he boomed, striding over. "There you are." The room went dead silent. Sarah's jaw dropped. Harrington clapped a hand on my shoulder. "I've been looking for you. We need to talk about that project." "Project? What project?" I stammered, "Mr. Harrington, what are you doing here?" He grinned. "Attending my old high school's reunion, of course. Class of '85. But more importantly, recognizing talent." He turned to the crowd. "Mark here is one of my top executives. His innovations saved us millions last quarter. He's not just an employee, he's family." Sarah's face paled. Derek shifted uncomfortably. The whispers turned. "Mark works for Harrington? He's a big deal?" But Harrington wasn't done. He pulled me aside, away from the gawking eyes. "I heard about your situation," he said quietly. "Divorce, single dad, I've been there. My first wife left me when I was building the company. Raised my son alone. You're stronger than you know, Mark." His words hit deep. Turned out, he'd been monitoring my progress, impressed by my late nights and ideas. "I'm promoting you to VP of Finance," he announced. "And there's a bonus, enough to fight for full custody if you want." But just as hope bloomed, my phone buzzed. It was Sarah's number. "We need to talk. Now." Her voice was frantic. What could she possibly want after humiliating me? Was this a trap, or something worse? I met Sarah outside the ballroom, under the starry night sky. Derek hovered nearby, but she waved him off. "Mark, I didn't know," she started, her composure cracking. "About your job, your boss." Lily misses you. She cries for you at night. Lies? Or truth? I searched her eyes, seeing regret for the first time. Why now? I demanded. After all the poison, the courts? She sighed, tears welling. Derek's business is failing. We're in debt. I thought I had it all, but it's crumbling. You're the stable one, Mark. The good dad. It was a punch to the gut. Part of me wanted to gloat, to throw her words back at her. But seeing her vulnerability, I remembered the girl I'd loved, the one who dreamed of teaching kids, not chasing status. This isn't about revenge, I said. It's about Lily. We talked for hours that night, hashing out old hurts. Sarah admitted her mistakes, the pressure she'd felt to upgrade her life. I shared my loneliness, the fear of failing our daughter. By dawn, we agreed to co-parent better, no more bad-mouthing, equal time with Lily. The next challenge came swiftly. With my promotion, work exploded. Harrington mentored me personally, inviting me to strategy meetings, even his yacht for brainstorming sessions. You've got the grit, Mark, he'd say. That's rarer than genius. But balancing it with dad duties? Brutal. Lily started acting out, tantrums at school, withdrawing from friends. Why are you always working, Dad? She'd ask, echoing Sarah's old complaints. I felt history repeating. One night, after missing her soccer game, I came home to find her drawing a picture. Me at a desk, her alone. It shattered me. I confronted Harrington. I can't do this if it costs me my daughter. He nodded thoughtfully. Family first. Let's adjust, remote options, flexible hours. But there was more. Harrington revealed his own story. Abandoned by his wife, he built his empire but nearly lost his son to neglect. Don't make my mistakes, he advised. Inspired, I implemented family-friendly policies at Innovatech, earning loyalty from the team. Lily thrived with more time together. We took a trip to the mountains, just us, building memories. Yet, another storm brewed. Sarah's marriage imploded when Derek's debts caught up. He left her high and dry, fleeing to avoid creditors. She called me in tears. Mark, I need help. For Lily's sake. Pride screamed to turn away, but compassion won. I helped her find a lawyer, even loaned money for essentials. We're in this together now, I told her. It wasn't reconciliation. Too much water under the bridge, but a truce. Lily beamed seeing us civil, no more tug-of-war. Months later, at Lily's school play, we sat together, me, Sarah, even Harrington, who'd become a grandfather figure to her. As she took her bow, applause thundering, I realized how far I'd come. From humiliated single dad to VP, mentor, healer. The key? Resilience. Facing humiliation head-on, leaning on unexpected allies, choosing forgiveness over bitterness. But wait, there was one last twist. During the after-party, Harrington pulled me aside again. Mark, I've got a proposition. I'm stepping down. I want you as CEO. My heart stopped. Me? Leading a billion-dollar company? The weight of it crashed down. Could I handle it without losing myself? I took a deep breath, thinking of Lily's smile, Sarah's growth, my own journey. Yes, I said. But on my terms, family first. Harrington laughed. That's why you're perfect. Years on, life isn't perfect, but it's rich. Lily's in college now, studying business, inspired by her two dads, me and Harrington, who's retired but visits often. Sarah remarried a kind teacher, and we're friends, co-grandparents someday. The humiliation at that reunion? It was the spark that ignited my rise. Proof that rock bottom is just the foundation for something greater. Remember, no matter how low you feel, there's always a door waiting to open, if you're brave enough to walk through. If this story touched you, hit that like button and subscribe for more inspiring tales. Thanks for watching.